I'm going to be tying this fly here. Now, this basically is a nymph wet fly mix. So you can see within there is a nymph pattern, and then obviously with the wings it's more like a wet fly. So it's an in-between fly. It's one I call this fly the Rodent, and this pattern especially very good for early season when the olives are coming off, and when you've got flurries of flies coming down and it stops, and then between that you want to try and something like this. Now it's a good pattern, it's really quite easy to tie. Now the thread I'm going to be using is a grey thread, a uni thread, this one, an 8/0. The hook is a size 14, which is the ideal size for these olives. You can go 14/16s, you can even go 12, depending, sometimes you get away with a bigger size. Now 14 is the ideal size though. Just start with thread at the eye of the hook, and we come down, put down a layer of thread along the shank until we're in line with the barb of the hook, which is there, and then remove the waste piece. The tail, I'm just going to use some bronze mallard. Now you're looking 4 to 6 fibres, just bring them 90 degrees from the stem, see them lining up, tear it away from the feather. The length of the tail, at least the length of the hook, just offer it to the back, turn round the back, a couple of turns to hold, see how it's sitting. That's fine. A nice long tail in this, don't be shy with the length of the tail. Now trim this 2/3 of the body, which is there. Now 2/3 of the body is going to be this quill. I'm going to use this is a dyed yellow Peacock Hare. Now take one of the quills off. This may be a bit messy here, but normally I would use a rubber, but you remove the hell against the natural flow of the fibre. Just where you can use your nail, you can see it's really easy to move, take away. Bit messy as I say, but just to show you what I'm doing. But you can use a rubber. There's the rubber there, you can see I've been using it. Just sit it on your desk, and then again you go against the natural flow. So this is going to be the body part of it anyway. And then trim away the tip, because when we tie it in with the finer part, then work my way up. Catch this on. Before I go any further, I'm going to blow away the fine hair, and just touch and turns with the thread, run it up. And then what I want to do, I want to form a better taper in the body, so I'm going to come back down 2/3 of the way and then back up to this point there. Now to protect the quill, I'm going to wind it over some super glue. This is brushed on super glue, and then wind up, just forming your body. Take your time. Don't worry if you miss the odd fibre. Fish will not mind. Cross your thread, tie it down. You can cut away or break it off. You can see it makes a nice, with your quill body, you can see the olive in it, you can see the yellow side. It's just a nice blend of colour, ideal for this fly. Now the hackle, you can use a hen, a dun, or in this case, this here is a half cape that I bought. It's a Coq de Leon hen. It's a lovely colour. I'm just using up these fibres, and they make for a nice hackle. You could just use what you have dyed, obviously, or natural would be the best. I'm going to catch in by the tip, so there's a pull back the fibres, just holding them with the hackle pliers. Catch the tip in. 2 or 3 turns, fold back the tip, tuck it back with 2 or 3 turns, slide your fingers, there's the tip of the hackle, I can trim that away. Now I'm going to wind it over some dubbing. What this dubbing is, you can see there, it's hare's body fur, but you could use rabbit fur, you could use hare's ear if you want it, but you can see in this I've put some UV, this is a Lite-Brite flash blended through it. Just dub it onto your thread. Now someone asked me about UV recently. Now you get fluorescent materials and you get UV, like this is a UV material which is not fluorescent but reflects the light, or the UV light back, which is natural light, the shine, so it's a reflective type fibre, whereas ultraviolet or fluorescent fibres can react with ultraviolet light, so it gets either brighter or so in certain light conditions, and you see it more in the morning and the evening, so you do. So anyway, what we do now is just form the thorax with the dubbing. Now you need a mil and a half or so from the eye. Then I'm just going to run the hackle through the dubbing. Draw back these fibres as you wind. Now you're looking probably what about 3 turns anyway, so 2 up through and 1 in front. Catch it in with the thread, 2 or 3 turns and trim away the waste. Tidy that area up. It's ready for your wing. Now you can see that's very nymph-like shape, so it is. It's really nice. Now what I'm doing is just drawing these fibres back so they're sitting right with my fingers. Now the wings, I'm using, believe it or not, the primary feathers from a snipe wing. Now the primary feathers, these absolutely brilliant for, you can tie small dries with it, or even, as in this case, sweats. We normally would be using the covert feathers for like the snipe and purple, but these feathers are great for wet flies and dries. So I'm taking a slip from either side, the right and the left side. Tie them on. I'm going to put them on like a tie-in dry fly wings in a way, meaning curving away from one another. You can see how they're curving away, so that you get a lot of movement in the wing. Now I'm just going to get them the same length, come from the front of the hook, set the length I want there, so then I pinch the wing, which is just by the bend of the hook, do a pinch and loop through, control that thread turn as you tighten up with the thread, and do it again, and then we tighten up again just for another turn or so, just to see how the wings sit. Don't worry if it sits up, because this is like a pattern that's it's like representing, it could be an emerger type fly, but it's a nymph type wet. It really gives the impression of a fly that's emerging or stuck in the surface form. Now then what I'm doing here is tidying up. Then we're back to our dubbing, just to tidy the head area up. So we're putting a head of dubbing on the fly. Just like a small rodent, I would call it, that's where the name comes from. So we've got our nymph type wet mix. So we just leave a space for the thread at the front. Now what I'm going to do here is just put a tiny bit of varnish onto the thread and wet finish. And this here will finish it off. 3 to 4 turns, tighten up, trim away, and there we go. And this is a great wee fly, wee rough fly. Certainly a fly worth having in your box, and as you can see I've been tying quite a few, and don't worry if the wing comes away or parts, not so much comes off, but the rougher the better these flies are, and that's what you're looking for. And once you start casting these, they'll look even better. So I hope you enjoyed that. And that there is a fly called the Rodent.